Let us offer our consecration to the Lord. Lord, we offer up to you this day, and we ask that your name be glorified, especially as we begin the season of Lent. Let us make this Ash Wednesday and our entire season of Lent one that is filled with your Spirit, that we may be those who celebrate on Easter Sunday the great gift that you have given us. And we ask this through Christ our Lord. Well, welcome to Lent. It is Ash Wednesday, of course, today. And today, by the way, is not a holy day of obligation. This is a fascinating day. And I have to be honest, a lot of priests do not like this day. There's a reason for it. You might say, why? Well, this is Ash Wednesday. This is a great day. Well, no, because there are a lot of people who will remember this is the day to get your ashes, but they won't remember to go to church on Sunday the rest of the year. So what'll happen is, and it's fortunately died down over the past several years, but what'll happen is people will come to the door to get ashes, and we don't give ashes at the door anymore. We stopped doing that right across the board. But what they will do is they want to get ashes, but they don't go to church. And so I'm telling you right now, if you have no intention of going to church the rest of the year, and you haven't been going to church, since last Ash Wednesday, do not get ashes today. And you're my father. How can you say that? Well, it's simple, because you're being hypocritical. You're walking around saying, I'm a Catholic. I'm doing penance by walking around with these ashes on my forehead, but you're not doing anything else that indicates that you are in fact Catholic. So don't. If you are have no intention of living your Catholic faith, at least at the minimum, which what we talked about yesterday and the day before, going to church on Sunday. Now, obviously, I am not talking to people who can't go to church. I am not talking to you, because obviously I'm talking to people who actually can go to church, who choose not to go to church and then want their ashes. So this is not the day for that. And this is always an interesting time for Ash Wednesday, because it happens. I remember in my deacon year, what would happen is I was at a parish where people would watch to see when the Mass would end, and we give out ashes. And we gave out ashes at the end of Mass, which we don't do now. We gave out ashes at the end of Mass, so people would watch when Mass would end, and then they would walk into the church. So the line would go on forever. Because people didn't want to go to Mass, had no intention of going on Sundays, but wanted to get their ashes, so they would show up at the church door when everyone else was leaving. So be careful of all that, because what that actually is you're actually being hypocritical, because you're telling the whole world, well, we go to church on Sunday, we go to church, we're good Catholics, the whole bit, and you're not. You're not going to church, you're not practicing your Catholic faith, you're not supporting your parish, you're not doing any of that. And people know that. That's the other thing. People know that. They'll go like, they're Catholic? Oh, wait a minute, is that the same guy? Well, so if you're going to church regularly, or if you don't go to church regularly and you intend to do so, feel free to get your ashes. If you have no intention of going to church after you get your ashes, until next Ash Wednesday, don't get ashes today. Okay. And today is, of course, we have the same readings that we do every year. They're rather interesting readings in light of what I just said to you, because both of them are, well, actually the gospel reading is all about not making it obvious that you are practicing your faith. Right. And what do? We put ashes on our forehead, let the whole world know we're Catholic. So it's always a fascinating reading. But in any case, that's the gospel reading. It's from Matthew. It's actually from the Sermon of the Mount. And it is from Matthew chapter 6, which is right in the middle of the Sermon on the Mount. The first reading, of course, comes to us from Joel, and that's where that famous line is, "Rend your hearts, not your garments." In other words, this is the time to recognize that we're called to be back to the Lord. Now, my focus on preaching is not about returning to the Lord so that we may get to heaven. My focus on preaching is calling people missionaries and saying, return to the Lord so that we may improve our witness to the Lord, that other people may return to the Lord. That's always my focus. If you ever listen to my homilies, very rarely do I talk about getting ready to go to heaven, to turn from sin so you can go to heaven, otherwise you'll end up in hell. I almost never preach on that, because we're all called to be missionaries. That's what we're called to do, and that's what my focus is on preaching. We'll be back right after this.
You can now leave a message for us, which we can air and discuss on this program. Just call 617-297-7452. That's 617-297-7452. 617-297-7452. Feel free to call, leave a comment, a question, or even feedback, and we may play it on the air. I can discuss your comment or question as well, so give that a try. 617-297-7452, 617-297-7452. Life can be challenging, but amidst the trials and tribulations, there is wisdom to be found. Welcome to Sirach 2, a chapter filled with timeless guidance and insights from the book of Sirach. In this chapter, we learn the importance of remaining steadfast in our faith, even in the face of adversity. It teaches us to be patient, for trials can shape our character and lead to spiritual growth. Seeking wisdom and understanding is of utmost importance. Sirach 2 reminds us to study the teachings of the wise, be open to correction, and follow God's commandments. By doing so, we can find true fulfillment and blessings. Don't be discouraged by the temporary prosperity of the wicked or the challenges you may face. Trust in God's justice, for He rewards those who diligently seek Him. Join us on this journey of faith as we discover the path to a meaningful and fulfilling life. Sirach 2 is your roadmap to wisdom, patience, and eternal blessings. Read Sirach 2 and let its timeless wisdom guide you through life's ups and downs. Available now in the book of Sirach, part of the Old Testament. Brought to you by the voice of St. Anthony Parish in Alston.
We're back, and we're talking about the powerful message of what we've begun, because now we're in Lent. Now, this is a good time to find, if you haven't done so already, these 3 days are a good time to kind of tweak and come up with your Lenten program. And usually a good idea is to give something up, to do something else, and also to consider almsgiving. And then part of doing something else might be related to prayer, because this is a time for prayer, people use fasting is one word. Mortification is another word. Fasting is actually a better word. We'll use that for right now. And almsgiving. So helping the poor and developing have a good prayer. And, maybe one practice that you might want to consider is some form of the daily liturgy, which is the breviary. That's really, a lot of lay people are doing that today. The religious have to do it, but a lot of lay people are doing that. And there's different forms. There are shorter forms and longer forms. You might want to consider that. You may actually want to consider experiencing liturgy of the hours at a monastery. And if you're here within the sound of my voice, which if you're hearing this on the internet could be anywhere in the world, but in the New England area, there are a lot of monasteries where you can actually go and you can participate or attend their liturgy of the hours. And there are a lot of monasteries. I was talking to someone yesterday, or one of my parishioners comes from the Athol region, and I pointed out to him that there is a interesting monastery, which I've talked to you before about, in Petersham, Massachusetts. I guess it's Petersham, or it might be Petersham, I'm not sure. But anyway, it's out there on Route 32. And it's a monastery. Actually, it's a priory and a monastery. I'm not sure which one is which. But it is one community. Actually, they worship as one community. It's two different communities, and they are connected by the chapel. So you have the female community on one side and the male community on the other, and both of them join at the chapel. Very interesting place, and you can attend when they do Liturgy of the Hours with full music and everything else. It's Benedictine, which would be. There's Glastonbury Abbey down in Hingham. There's St. Joseph's Abbey. It's a Trappist abbey, and it's a little tricky of how to get in there. And I guess maybe not. You can sit in the galleries, which are off from the chapel. They're all in the chapel, but they're a little distance from where all the monks sit. You can sit in the galleries and either listen or participate. There are all kinds of monasteries in the area. If you'd like to go to a monastery during this time, and they have all different hours. There's the Wrentham Monastery, which I haven't been to, but I know the Trappists are in Spencer on Route 31, off of Route 31, and the Trappistines are in Wrentham, which is the female Trappists. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't been there, but I'm not exactly sure. There's an order of Dominican nuns on U.S. Route 5 in West Springfield. They're just all over. And that's an idea of just at least once during Lent to experience this form of Liturgy of the Hours. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a blessed day. I want to call your attention to Catholic TV, which offers great faith-filled, family-friendly programming 24 hours a day. You can find your cable channel at www.getcatholictv.com, and you can watch online on the free apps or check out the YouTube channel. Daily Mass, Rosaries, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Novena are all available online and on demand. Check out CatholicTV.com. If you're searching for a meaningful spiritual experience, look no further than St. Anthony's Parish in Allston, Massachusetts. Join us at 43 Holton Street in between Soldiers Field Road and the Mass Pike. Immerse yourself in the complete St. Anthony's Parish encounter through our 10 o'clock a.m. chanted Mass. Whether you're a Catholic seeking a parish to call home or someone looking for spiritual guidance, our welcoming community is here for you. Visit our website at www.stanthonyalston.org for more information. St. Anthony's Parish, where faith finds a home.